So thank you for joining us today. We're really excited to be working with you on our website as part of our research program. So that's AD-RIDDLE. I'm going to ask a few questions today about what you think the website should look like, and any messaging that you would like to see on the website. As someone living with dementia yourself, what are the key features and content that you think the website should have?
You should have real voices, as in us, speaking about our experiences and about what we know from our experience works for us and people like us. The most important thing is positive messaging, positiveness, to make sure that from the first click on the website, people are getting the message that you can have a good life with dementia.
Those four groups, obviously, are people diagnosed with dementia, carers and supporters, professionals, the general public and other groups, so that everybody is seen as equal right from the outset. So equal, immediate visibility matters. If one group's hidden, their voice is buried.
If the website makes accessing the information that they want very easy within a couple of clicks, it should be accessible quickly so that people don't give up and so that people don't become discouraged. When they see the information presented and when they see people's faces and hear people talking about the dementia experience, that they recognize themselves in it and they say to themselves in their heads, oh, this is relevant for me.
I would like to advocate for the importance of the information on the website being kept current in range of content and up to date in detail, citing dates and sources. There's little more frustrating and confusing than struggling to find some more information, only to discover that the event is long past or non-existent, or that the information has been superseded. Also, for the purposes of combating the stigma, bias, and publicly promoted misinformation, I would like to see the website proclaiming the achievements of people following their diagnosis. New skills acquired, books published, civic awards won, degrees and doctorates awarded, state honours won, devices invented to help us live with dementia, as well as schooling the misinformed public, including the medical profession. This could boost the confidence and ambition of people receiving the challenging diagnosis. More productive to think of it as challenging than devastating.
You know, to make it clear from people with a lived experience speaking, that somebody looking at it can see, you know, that they can live well, that they can still be doing stuff, and that their voice still matters, because after diagnosis, you think your voice no longer counts. And if you can see yourself within that, then you're given the hope that you need, that my life isn't actually over, that I can still continue to live here.
Is there anything that we should be avoiding when creating this website?
It's really important to avoid doom and gloom, but also because there is a general stigma and stereotype that people with dementia, immediately they're diagnosed, can't do anything. So we need to avoid that. And in a sense, not just avoid it, but directly address against it. You should avoid the clinical approach to dementia or clinical description of dementia, which is very much about disability and emphasize ability. You should try to avoid the use of dementia friendly, and in particular in signposting and suggesting activities for people that are, quote, dementia friendly. People should be going to whatever they want to go to. Yes, if it is if they enable you to be able to take part, if there's any reason that you can't, then that's fine, that's great. But none of us want to always be going to dementia friendly things.
Yeah, it's avoid doom and deficit-based language. The language that puts the problem with the person that's diagnosed. Carers matter really deeply. I was a carer for my grandma. My professional training was in caring, a lot of it. But people with diagnosed dementia still need their own voice. We've got to be really careful not to let diagnosed voices be unintentionally overshadowed. Listen first. Don't rush to fix.
We should avoid a portrayal of people as not being competent, not having any capacity, and that the stigma and the stereotype and the portrayal of us is inaccurate.
To say to avoid using acronyms, so that it's very clear what is being said, and people don't have to try and work out what a particular term like PWD, meaning people with dementia, that it says people with dementia, and also that the right font size and colours are used, that it's not too jazzy in makeup, that it's clear and concise, and definitely no sound sort of playing in the background, because that can cause major distraction and can add to confusion, really.
Word dementia friendly and talking about carers instead of supporters and producing misleading and dishonest statistics.
So we would like to promote greater awareness about brain health and dementia in Northwest London, in those communities. And we decided to focus on local resources for local people. How do you feel about this local approach?
Neighbourhood is incredibly important to people. And neighbourhood doesn't just mean groups and activities. Neighbourhood means where you go or have been going as a routine. It might be to the newspaper shop. It might be to the supermarket. It might be just going for a walk around a local park. I would like people to feel able to continue to do what they have been doing and more of it.
But local resources have obviously got to be really easy to find for those communities. And there's a risk that you're designed for sort of ideal access. And bottom line is some people can't freely leave their home, but equally it has to cover everybody. And also within the local design, there's obviously the more global design, isn't there? There's the promoting brain health. Person first, diagnose second.
And be aware of the traditions, the religions, and the diversity in communities in Northwest London. In case of brain health and promoting brain health, well, eating food that is healthy is good for the brain. And for example, if you go to a Sikh temple, you'll be offered a community meal, and they're always very healthy. They're lentils and rice. There is enormous diversity within the dementia community, and we're all at different stages. So some people were diagnosed years ago and are unfortunately struggling mightily now, and other people have been diagnosed more recently. So I think that if the information is arranged in a sort of life journey pathway where people could say, this information is for people who are recently diagnosed, go there first. So community resources need to be signposted in a relevant way.
Local is good, as long as it's accurate and correct and kept up to date. But as I say, I think a lot of it would be very useful for people from other areas.
You mustn't forget there are national things happening which have got local presences as well.
Anything else that you want to add that we've not already covered?
But we need to emphasise that we have to have autonomy. We have to be ourselves. What we mustn't do is take stupidly dangerous risks, which we may lose the ability or capacity to judge.
Which is about brains. It likes to be exercised. But not just puzzles and Sudokus and what have you. It needs to be exercised in the real world to cope with the real world, so I can respond to the real world, and I can respond taking responsibility for myself so that I stay in charge of my life. And I think that's the essence of autonomy, is that I decide. Do a language check. Please don't situate the problems that we have with us by labeling us in an inappropriate way. Don't set us apart as a constituency that's apart from the general population or the community. That disables us. Don't use language that disables us as well.
I think somewhere on the website, if there was some way of directing people to a safe site that would explain the difference between a power of attorney and a lasting power of attorney, and the steps needed to be taken to implement one, and the same about making a will.
We're not stupid. We just have dementia.